Welcome, low ego action heroes and phoenixes, to our special extra stream for my book launch. We have special guest Diana. Diana the puppy. Diana, my 8-year-old puppy. Okay, is this too much? Yes, you're okay. Thank you for dropping by. We had a request for more dogs on the show, so there you go. Small dog moment. Hello, Ana Lucia. So welcome to episode 287, special event in which we are celebrating the launch of my new book. I have the matching shirt, Atomic Product Market Fit. If you want any of the swag, you can find it at dcx.to. Yeah, Diana might not have wanted to be on the stream today. Maybe Pizzolo next time. He loves to ham it up. So today we're going to be talking about the Product Market Fit book. It is now available for sale, so you should be able to find print and Kindle on most Amazon sites. Unfortunately, not all of them. I'm still working on that. And on my website, you'll be able to find the EPUB and PDF. We will be recording the audiobook live in March on live streams. I'm going to live voice act the book, and then at the end of each chapter, take your questions. I've got a Miro board ready for that. So you are welcome to join those live streams and ask your questions. But after each stream, the book is going to, the files will come down. I'll edit it up, edit it at some point, and then we'll get it out there as the audiobook, including the audience question and answer. We also have a new Maven course and a free Maven Lightning lesson for people interested in the Atomic Product Market Fit model, and also how I use AI within that process. And it's going to be 24 hours of live lessons and demonstrations with me in that course. This is not going to be, please watch some of my videos and then I'll take your questions on Tuesday. This is going to be very active and hands-on, and me teaching stuff live. So if you are interested, you can find it in the events calendar at dcx.to/events. And you can also sign up for the free lightning lesson at atomicpmf.com/lightning. And that reminds me. Let's see. Yes, and you can always go to atomicpmf.com to catch the book on my dcx Media Publishing website, where you can find all the links to whatever formats I have available and how you can buy it. For those of you wondering what it looks like, let's do that, and then we're going to do some reading from it as well. So there will be a very overpriced hardcover because Amazon severely raised their prices for print-on-demand hardcovers, especially with color print. So these will be great for work libraries and some super fans, but the hardcover is generally probably just too expensive. However, the paperback should be very affordable. It's printed grayscale, and it's looking real good. And I've specially designed these to look super on a shelf with other books you may have bought from me. So here, for example, are the hardcovers. I know if you're listening to the audio only on the podcast platforms, you're not seeing this, but my point is all of the spines line up nicely. And if you've bought the other books, either the hardcovers or the paperbacks, they're all going to look real great together on the shelf. They're all the same size. This book is 266 pages. That makes it shorter than Customers Know You Suck, but a little longer than Disruptive Research. So if anybody's wondering, ooh, how long is this? How long will it take me to read? If you've read some of the other books, that might help you. Ana Lucia says the hardcover is like 3 times the price of the regular cover. Yes, I was sorry to have to do that, but it has to do with how much Amazon, so very quickly, when you have Amazon do print on demand, you pay for Amazon to print the book. So there's an amount of money that comes out of your purchase that goes to Amazon for the printing of the book. Then there is an amount of money that comes out of your Amazon purchase for their commission for making the sale. So in the end, when you see a price like, let's say, 22 American dollars for the book, I might keep 6, 7. It really depends. And the rest of it goes to Amazon. Hi, Charlene. Thanks, of course, to Charlene, who is one of our editors. So when people see these book prices, I want to make sure they understand that it's not like it's a $22 book and Amazon gets $2 and I get $22. That's just not the case at all. And in fact, you can even go to Amazon's calculators, the KDP for Kindle Direct Publishing. The KDP calculators are public. So you can even go to that and say, okay, it's a paperback and it's grayscale and it's 7 inches by 10 inches and it's got 266 pages. And you can see what it costs me to print it. You can see how much money I make on it. These are not secrets. Ana Lucia says, oh, I was surprised by the difference. It's massive. Yeah, it is, because I think it was under $6 American to print the paperback before Amazon's commissions and other stuff. And it was, I think, 24 or 26 American dollars to print the hardcover, even though they're the same number of pages, because the hardcover is not just a hardcover, it's also a full color book. So, for example, inside of the paperback, everything is grayscale, shades of gray. There's no color other than the cover. Whereas the way I usually do my hardcover books is that the hardcover books have the hardcover and they have the color cover, but then the inside is full color, which is not totally easy to see because my green screen is green screening out some of the color, but you can see there's blues and oranges and images are full color. So it just happens to be, all of these prices are going up. Ana Lucius. And yeah, by the way, ask any questions you have about the book. I'm so excited to tell you more about it. We're going to go through the table of contents. We're going to talk about what's in it and what you can learn from it. So ask any questions you have. Put them in the chat. I should probably open up LinkedIn on my phone just in case everybody's chats are not coming through like they weren't the other day. So Ana Lucia says, do you think the regular version of the book will have issues with colors? I remember disruptive design and some of the colors were important. Right. So Larry and I made the decision when we did disruptive research book, where we decided we have to print the book only in color. So the paperback was in color and the hardcover was in color because color was so important. In my books, nothing is color coded. So the color ends up being not important. The types of things that I have colored are like chapter subtitles and the call outs on the page that are separated by lines, and like these story time and try it boxes. These are colored. But again, if you don't see the color, you can still see that there is a box. There we go. Or if you're listening to the audio version, you don't see a box, but no, there's nothing in my book that relies on you following a color system the way that disruptive research at least requested that you follow a color-based system. So that is a very good question. So no, if you get the book in grayscale, you're not missing anything at all. I tried to make sure all the colors were very readable. If anybody has any problems with the book, please let me know. That way I can fix it on Amazon and make sure you get a replacement. But, please let me know if you find. So I know that the book right now has a couple of small mistakes in it, but they're the kind of mistakes almost nobody would notice. Like a few things should be italics and they're not. You might not notice that. And I have a numbered list, I think in almost the last chapter, that accidentally says 1123. So, if you are the first to order the book, you're going to get it with a couple of quirks, and I'm uploading the fixes, but I don't think it's got any serious errors in it. How do we get a signed copy, says Charlene. Oh, well, Charlene, you get one for free, of course. I didn't order them yet, so I don't have them. I expect to have my stash of books in late March, and then I will send out any signed copies or free copies for my editors to thank them. If you would like a signed copy, you can go to atomicpmf.com and you can order it directly from me on my website. So signed copies are not going to be on Amazon because Amazon prints them on demand. So when you order it, it gets printed. That way we are not wasting stuff, and these aren't sitting in warehouses. It's a pretty good way to do things. But for the signed copies, I have to order a bunch of books, get them to my house, and then I personally sign them to people. I package them up, and they go out to, then we personally, either me or Pier Mario, we go to the post office in our little village and we mail them. So it's not like there's some fancy system. It's very homemade, So that's how that works. So the full title of the book, because you always have a subtitle nowadays for books, is Atomic Product Market Fit, Avoid Cycles of Failure, Drive Success, Conversion, Retention, and Growth. The original subtitle of the book was, if your company likes failure, they're really going to love success. But I decided not to make that the subtitle because not everybody reads the book is going to be failing. And that brings me to, who is the book for? And to me, the book is for everybody. On the one hand, I definitely wrote it for people in corporate and tech jobs. So this could be for strategists, product managers, UX researchers, UX designers, product designers, engineers, marketers, CRO people, revenue people. It's really for everybody. It doesn't assume that you work in product management or UX or research. It assumes that you work somewhere. On the other hand, I know a lot of people have not been able to find a tech job or a corporate job. They're starting to shift into some of their own businesses. So the book is also written with entrepreneurs and startups in mind. So ultimately, the book is for everybody. The book doesn't assume you have that much pre-existing knowledge. There's a couple of terms that I use without defining them, but they're easy to look up. And so the book is really for everybody: workers, leaders, executives, startup founders, entrepreneurs, service designers, everybody at every level. It's going to give us lots of new ways to talk about things. So the next thing I want to do is go through the table of contents, and for that I have prepared, we'll cut off the top of my head here, I've prepared a screen share going into my Word file of the book. I do write my books in Word, hashtag not sponsored. I actually do have my effects working today, so I can say hashtag not sponsored, though it is under my picture of my book. So I want to read you the table of contents. It's long because I've got, I'll give you the short version of the table of contents. I'll just give you the parts and the chapters without all of the sub-chapters. But as you see things, oh, Charlene says it's a very easy read. Thank you, Charlene. So part one is true PMF, product market fit. And again, if you're not familiar with that term, it's a very common term. I didn't invent it. You can absolutely look it up. You can ask AI about it. Product market fit is a very, very common term, just meaning we must make products and services that fit our market, because these are going to be measures of of success for our business. So product market fit is not a very special or fancy term. It's pretty easy to define, which we do in chapter 2. But chapter 1 is really the introduction. I introduce some of the terms that I'm going to use throughout the book that I either made up or kind of made my own. I talk about the flexibility in the atomic PMF model. And then I spend some pages talking about, can we use AI for the things that I'm going to introduce to you in the book? And the answer is mostly yes, but with some warnings. So chapter 1 goes into some warnings about when is AI likely to be good for us and help us, and when is AI likely to work against us, and the type of knowledge we're going to need to use AI well, no matter what your AI or LLM tool is. I'm using mostly Claude, so a lot of the examples throughout the book, because I bring up AI in multiple places throughout the book, not just in chapter 1. Many of my examples are Claude, but some are not. Chapter 2 introduces, introduces the atomic PMF model. And so, yes, I actually invented a model. And again, you might be starting to wonder, well, hold on a second. Did Debbie have Claude write this book for her or with her? No, I have an AI statement that I've been putting at the front of my books that says, I use Claude for some of my research, and I used Claude for some of my content editing. Like, I would send Claude some pages and say, hey, this is the point I'm trying to make. Do you feel like this lands well? How could I improve this? And Claude would be like, no, this is really strong, or, ooh, this has a weakness here. And then Claude, of course, would say, would you like me to rewrite it? And I would always say, no, don't rewrite it. I am the writer. You are not writing my book. A couple of times, just for fun, I would be like, yeah, try to rewrite it in my style. And it couldn't capture my style. It ended up making me sound like Mike Montero. It just ended up making me sound like, here's everything that's wrong with everybody. You're all doing it wrong. Light a match, burn everything to the ground, walk away. And I was like, I don't even think you can copy my style. So Claude did not write my book. I've spent a year on this book. And so if Claude wrote my book and I spent a year on it, I'm very bad at this. But no, this was written by humans, edited by humans, with a little bit of review from Claude. So chapter 2 is the atomic product market fit model that I invented. And a year ago, I went to Claude and I said, I have this idea for taking another angle on product market fit. Has anybody else taken this angle? And Claude said, I cannot find anything that sounds anything like what you're doing. And I was like, cool, I've invented a thing. So we talk about the atomic product market fit model, and it's atomic because we're looking at things in 3 levels: macro, meso, and micro. So the idea is macro product market fit is what most people think of now as product market fit. It's, does PowerPoint have product market fit? Sure it does. People need to make slides. Many people use PowerPoint. It has product market fit. But what about at the meso level? The meso level, the way I describe it, because I made up the model, is these are all of your features and all of your services. If you add a new feature to PowerPoint, does that feature fit your market? Does it fit your target audience? Does it work well for them? Is it going to be something that they are happy about? If you create a new, now they'll probably lose clientele for Libra. Yes, and I talk about that kind of thing in the book. If you say, for example, okay, let's think about PowerPoint features. You put Microsoft Copilot, their AI, into PowerPoint. Is PowerPoint still a good experience? Is the AI a good experience? Are you getting what you want out of it? Is it helping you? Is it working against you? Is it good enough that it makes you love PowerPoint even more? Is it so bad that you want to run screaming from PowerPoint, or you turn off Copilot? So this is our meso level. It's the feature and service level, and us needing to ask ourselves and research and keep checking in with our target audiences. Do the features and services match them? And then we have the micro level, which is our little atomic level, all of our atoms that make up our molecules and our compounds. And that is all of our touch points, all of the digital experiences, all of the non-digital experiences, all of the human experiences. What does the store look like? How did the workers talk to you? Was it easy to use the app? Was it easy to sign up? Was it easy to cancel? All of these are the micro moments, and all of these have to match our audience, our market as well. Because if you think about times when you have left a company or stopped using a product or a service, chances are you disconnected from that company at the micro level. That is probably what happened. It's not so much the macro level. Most horror stories are probably at the micro level, yet we're often not paying attention to this. We're thinking, well, we're PowerPoint, we have product market fit, whatever. But most companies have competitors and people could leave. So chapter 2 is devoted to making sure you understand the atomic product market fit model and thinking about ways that you can bring that into conversations wherever you work or at your own business or startup. The book has a number of boxes that say story time, which are little tales from mostly work that I've done or sometimes headlines from the real world. And then there are little boxes that say try it, which are either exercises or me challenging you to think critically about something. And I want you to. So the book has its own kind of little interactivity, which of course we'll bring into the Maven course, which I hope people will check out. And you can find that at atomicpmf.com/lightning. With a lowercase l. That will be the free webinar before the full Maven course. Chapter 3 is about validating product market fit. If you've ever worked for a startup or tried to have a startup, you know a lot of attention is paid to, can we validate that we have product market fit? And there are some consultants and other people out there who are claiming, oh yeah, you can find product market fit within days, or you can know for just a few $100s if you have product market fit, or if you run this survey and this many people say they like your product, you've got product market fit. And so in chapter 3, we take a look at what are some good ways to say, yeah, you know what, we might have product market fit. And then what are some ways that I think are flawed, where we're probably lying to ourselves and we might not have product market fit. Plus, we also have to take a look at, do we have it at all 3 levels, our macro, meso, and micro levels, as per the atomic model. Part 2 of the book is called Investing in Quality. It's got 3 chapters, chapters 4, 5, and 6. Chapter 4 is the 2 sides of ROI. It's the survey for the juice machine that you talked about. Maybe. So chapter 4 is called The 2 Sides of ROI. This is something that I wrote an article about, and it's another thing that I feel like I've come up with. I've never seen anybody else talk about this way. And I really hope that by sharing these things with people, you're going to hopefully make some change at companies where you work or where you're a leader or your own business or startup. But we obsess over ROI. Our company invests money. We buy products and services, and we want to know, are we getting a good return on our investment? And we're looking at that and we're measuring that. But we never stop and say, you know what? Our customers are having the same conversations about us. I've never heard anybody say that anywhere that I've worked. And maybe I'm the first person to say it, maybe not, but we need to talk about this. We need to talk about how our customers are judging the return on their investment in us. They spend time on our products, our services, our features, our human interactions, whatever our company is offering. Are they going to walk away going, wow, I'm getting great value for what I'm paying? Or are they going to walk away going, wow, this thing sucks and these people suck and I can't wait till we find another company to switch to. So chapter 4 looks at ROI from a new angle, and it's got some exercises, and I hope you'll talk to your workers about that. Or co-workers, I should say. Ana Lucia says, I remember a story you told about a company investing in a juice machine because they made a survey asking people if they would buy it. They made it so that you would need to buy their juice. Yeah, so that is an example I use in the book. It's a famous failed startup called Juicero. And they thought that people would want a machine that dispenses juice from bags of juice that you could only buy from them because it was kind of a Nespresso Keurig model, and that did not go very well. So that is a famous macro product market fit failure. Going back to the table of contents, chapter 5 is called Excellent Research. And the idea is that if you're going to fit products, services, experiences, features, human interactions, if you're going to fit those to your market, you're going to have to understand your market. It's not optional. Now, whether or not you use qualified researchers or whoever or AI, that's a deeper conversation that the book goes into. But at the very least, we should understand, what does good research look like? What does excellent research look like? And what does not great research look like? And the book will go into a section on why are we having product market fit problems? Why do we build features that don't get utilized? Why do we release A/B tests that keep losing because we didn't make it better? So that's going to come in part 3. But in part 2, I introduce the idea of excellent research and why doing better research, whoever's going to do it, we can fight about that later, whoever's going to do research needs to be doing it well. Ana Lucia says, because shareholders and product managers think they know their audience. Well, anybody can think they know their audience. I've met designers who thought they knew their audience and really didn't. Strategists, engineers, marketers, it could be anybody. So it's not about pointing fingers at any particular job. Anybody can be disconnected from their target audience or market and not know them very well. And that's where excellent research is going to save the day. Chapter 6 is called Hypotheses and the Scientific Method. And we take a look at the idea of hypothesis-first approaches that have been very popular, but have led to a lot of product and service and feature failures. So we take a look at, why would you be hypothesis first, but then also, what would it look like to not be hypothesis first, and when would you create your hypothesis? So we're going to take a look at that in chapter 6, Hypotheses and the Scientific Method. Then the book shifts into part 3, which is PMF blockers. So let's look at some of the things that are likely to block your product market fit at any atomic level, that macro level, the meso level, the micro level. So chapter 7 is called We Don't Understand the Market, which is basically when you haven't done excellent research, or you've done research that wasn't excellent. I take a look at some of the common models and books and things that are out there. We look at a little bit at lean startup. We look a little bit at continuous discovery habits. We look at MVPs. We look at Spotify DIB. We look at a bunch of things, jobs to be done, customer journey maps, and we take a look at, where are these things working for us, and where might they be working against us and need a little critical thinking? So the book tries to take a kind of a balanced look at some of these things, because they all have pros and they all have cons. Nothing is 100% evil, and a lot of it is up to how you do it. And I point out in chapter 7 that many of the books and models that are out there generally say the same thing. They all generally want you to follow the scientific method. They're all a variation of what is typically called the scientific method, which is explained in chapter 6. You can also look it up. I didn't invent it. Every process out there, continuous discovery habits, design thinking, lean startup, all of these things are basically the scientific method in some other form. And so we can do that well, or we can do that not well. So we'll dig into that. Chapter 8 is called Stop Asking Bad Questions. And that's because I know that many people, whether you're in your own startup or business, or you're working for a larger company, you don't always get to work with qualified and experienced researchers. I hope you will. The book says please hire them, please work with them. But I also know that it's reality that many companies do not have access to researchers, but somebody is going to try to do research. So while the book can't teach you to be an amazing researcher, because that's hard to learn from a book, I do walk through a lot of types of questions that are very commonly asked, but they're not very good questions, and they often don't lead to us learning what we need to learn about our market, our audience, or as I call it in the book, our experience ecosystem. So at the very least, if someone can start using fewer bad questions, the purpose of part 3 in the book in pointing out things that we're doing wrong is not to make people feel bad or ashamed, but to say, hey, if you've been doing any of these things or your teammates are doing them, talk about it and just start doing less of them. If you can ask fewer bad questions, that's great. If you can add anything from atomic PMF into your process, that's great. You don't have to add everything. Ana Lucia says, unfortunately, many of them don't have access to researchers because someone believes they don't need them. Yeah, and we cover that in chapters 7 and 9, where we talk about, do you really need researchers? Can anybody do this? Could AI do this? And it's just something that we're going to keep talking about because these are the questions that come up. Do we really need product managers? Do we really need designers? Do we really need researchers? And I think these conversations are going to continue. So I'm giving you my 2026 versions of what I think of it. Ana Lucia says, it's funny because everyone seems to love Apple for the R&D, but then they don't even try to copy them. Yeah, I mentioned that in Customers Know You Suck, and it does get brought up again in this book as well. So continuing with what blocks product market fit, chapter 9 is internal process problems. If we start peeling away the layers and we take a look at root causes, why don't we have product market fit? Why aren't we releasing features that win? Or why aren't we releasing services people love? Or why aren't we able to convert people or retain them? Why aren't they loyal? It's ultimately because of internal process problems. There's something going on in the way that our company is run, or the way that our company has decided to work, or maybe what our ethics are, where we are blocking our own ability to create product market fit better and more efficiently. And so again, you won't be able to do everything from the book. That's fine. It's not an all or none framework. But if you can take a couple of things from chapter 9 and go, yeah, that's a crappy, messy thing that our company is doing. Maybe we can try to do less of that. You can make change. You absolutely can. We've got a couple of new catchphrases in the book that I think people will enjoy. One of the earlier chapters introduces us to failure squared, which is failing and then failing to learn from that failure, not learning why we failed, and then just going with another guess. So we've got failure squared, and we've also got vibe producting. Vibe coding. Welcome to Vibe Producting, where we are going to try to do product development or product strategy through vibes and guesses and assumptions, and maybe have AI try to do it. So we've got some new catchphrases. Chapter 10 and 11 are two more reasons why something internal to your company is probably blocking you from more success. Chapter 10 is roles, tasks, and using AI. And it's a shorter chapter, but we're taking a look at who should do work. Can AI do the work? Should we force people to do AI? So we're taking a look at where product market fit is blocked because of who is doing which work. Or Is AI doing stuff, or are we making people use AI? Ana Lucia says, someone thought one of the phrases I used in one of my post-its was funny. One of my posts was funny, guessing with post-its. Yeah, that can, workshop theater can certainly feel like guessing with post-its. And chapter 11, which wraps up part 3 about blockers, is called Competitors Move Into Your Space. And here's where I want to talk about competition a little bit, because that is a problem that our customers didn't cause, but it's a problem we have that we're not always addressing. We might try to copy our customers, but especially now with how fast companies are trying to move or building with AI, or people vibe coding stuff, it's really easy for you to have a lot more competition than you used to. And what are we going to do about that? How is that going to help us? How is that going to hurt us? And what is this all going to look like if the AI bubble bursts, as many people are warning about? So that wraps up part 3 about some of the key things that are probably blocking your atomic product market fit at one or more of your levels: macro, meso, and micro. Part 4 of the book gives you the atomic product market fit process. And as I mention in the book, mine also is a variation of the scientific method. So there are aspects of the process I'm giving you that are going to seem familiar because I didn't invent them. The main difference in what I'm doing is how I'm spelling it out and the details I'm giving you and how to get things done. Specifically, I'm talking about where can we use AI and maybe where shouldn't we use AI. And also, I'm calling out specifically that to me, phase 2 of my process should be strategy and planning. I think I feel like almost everybody I speak to, whether it's on LinkedIn or on our online community or private conversations or coaching calls or questions we get here, people are telling me, my company doesn't have any strategy. I just get a to-do list of features. We've got to put the strategy back in product strategy. So let's talk about that. And here, how this book is different from Customers Know You Suck is Customers Know You Suck was definitely more high level and more strategic. This book is more tactical and practical. This book says, do this, then do this. And here's a template for this. And you can make something based on this template. You can try to have AI make something based on this template. Go for it. But we've got to stop for a moment and create the strategy. Larry Marine's book calls that out as well. But in general, I'm not seeing people say, let's stop and really have a strategy. I mostly see people say, well, we'll just have a requirements document and that's our strategy. Your requirements document is not necessarily a strategy. It may just be a list of requirements and a bunch of features. So let's go back let's put the strategy back in product strategy so that we're not vibe producting. So chapter 12 is an overview of the 4 phases of the atomic PMF process. Chapter 13 is phase 1 of the process, which is understand the ecosystem. So again, if you think about a human-centered design approach or a double diamond approach or some of these other things that you've heard of before, this is the discovery, the exploration, the early understanding of people and contexts and systems, just exploring the problem space. These are all phrases we've heard before, except guess what? We don't do it. You read all these books that say do discovery, explore the problem space, understand people, understand the problems you need to solve, and then we don't do it. So I'm going to go into how we need to do it. Chapter 14 is phase 2, strategize and plan. So this is where we're going to slow down. We're going to write problem statements based on the good research we did in phase 1, and I give you a template for that. We're going to develop a strategy on how our project is going to approach solving that problem. The strategy doesn't solve the problem. It doesn't come up with ideas. It doesn't come up with hypotheses. It is just the strategy for solving the problem, and I've got a template you can use. We burned some how might we questions to the ground, And then we shifted to phase 3. Now that we have great research and data and evidence and knowledge, and we've got a strategy and we've done some project planning, now we're going to explore solutions. Before that, we stay solution agnostic. We want to make sure that we are doing prototyping or models or sample experiences or however you want to call it. There's lots of examples in the book of different types of prototypes. Like I talk about Disney's cabanas, which are basically a living service design prototype. And that prototyping is an incredibly important part of the process that a lot of people skip. They think they just need to go straight to A/B testing or live launching, and they don't understand that if the next thing you're supposed to do with a hypothesis is test it, sure, but that doesn't have to be something the public sees. It can be something you test privately behind the scenes. Not everybody knows that. Phase 4, of course, is that testing. Test and evaluate. And I also talk about how this process is cyclic. You might not test just once. You might design something or come up with a solution. You might model it or prototype it. You might evaluate and test it. And you might find this sucks in smaller, large ways. So you circle back to phase 3 and you say, let's rethink this solution and change the design or the idea or the execution or something else about it, and let's test it again and see if we're getting this right-er. Because we don't want to send anything to A/B testing that hasn't already passed this testing. It doesn't make sense to have engineers build something and put it out there just to hope it's okay, when we can test prototypes early and quickly and end up saving time and money. And from there, the book just wraps up with a simple conclusion, some suggested resources, some thank yous, a short index with just some of the key topics, and because I had an extra page, a blank page for notes. So there. Let's see, this looks a little weird, but that's fine. We will get all this updated, and I will re-upload it in case some of these page numbers have gotten funky. I will re-upload it to Amazon if I have to. Let's see, did the page numbers change after I did that? No, evidently not. So, and Ana Lucia says, competition is great. Competition makes companies try to do better. Unfortunately, with billionaires buying everything, soon we'll have no competition for most things. Yes and no. You know, in the book, I don't think we're going to have no competition. So, we'll see. Joel Bar says, yay. Well, yay back at you, Joel Bar. Hope you'll check out my new book. The digital version is available on my website. Just go to atomicpmf.com. The digital versions from my website are $10, and the print book on Amazon is more. But certainly the digital version is more affordable. Thank you to Joel for the nice comment there. Oh, my phone is making some sounds, and we'll just double check that. And then Ana Lucia also says, the key is testing before releasing. I really wish more people realized how much money they're wasting with this fail fast mindset. Look okay, fail fast in the research phase, not after releasing. Yep, obviously I agree. And that's what the book talks about, because if you want to have product market fit, you have to make products that fit your market. That is the definition of product market fit. That's the bottom line. It's not my opinion on product market fit. That is the definition. You do not have product market fit if your products and services do not fit your market. That's it. And the best way to know that is to learn through some earlier testing and evaluation, because can you just release it and can you just A/B test it? Yes, that you can. You absolutely can. But you've increased your risk, you've increased your expenses, and now, hypothetically, you might end up with a lot of waste. And I think especially as the economy changes and other things, people are just not going to want the waste. So now I'd like to read the first page to you, because some of you know I work very hard on making a first page that packs a punch. And really special thanks to Charlene here, because when she was editing the book, she felt like the first page wasn't landing as well as it could have, and that led me to reorder some of the things that were on it, and I think it's much better now. So I am always grateful to Charlene for, I think, a more powerful page 1. Ana Lucia says it's completely possible to get it right on the first try as long as you do proper research. Why is it so impossible to believe? It's so impossible to believe mostly because people don't know. When I did some research for this book, I found that a lot of people who are especially not in UX and even sometimes in UX don't understand that. They've read so much about conversion rate optimization and A/B testing and product management and product strategy that they think you have to release something live in order to know if it's working, and they didn't know that you could test it before. We go into that pretty deeply in chapter 9. So yes, I will be addressing that. So let's read page 1. I'm going to read it out loud. Of course, the book club starts on Monday, March 2nd, where I will be voice acting the entire book, not in one day, but over a series of multiple live streams. So I will be live voice acting the book, and then at the end of each chapter, taking your questions, and that will turn into the audiobook. So, chapter 1, Introduction. In decades of consulting, strategy, and change agent work, leaders and executives have never asked me to help them fail more or fail faster. They usually want me to find and solve problems, identify and mitigate risk, make teams more efficient, and make products and services more successful. There was nothing in my MBA program that said, high failure rates are great. Keep burning money on bad ideas and guesses. Ignore customer satisfaction because we're probably good enough. We, companies, teams, and individuals, have become very good at failing. We dared to fail. We failed fast. We failed slowly. We moved fast and failed. And we failed some more. After failing, we ran as fast as we could straight into another failure. Our A/B test or experiment failed, we cycled around with another guess, and we failed again. We're surprised by low NPS, customer satisfaction scores, and feature utilization. We were 100% confident in the greatness of our idea, yet it was another unmistakable failure. Most teams forgot how to succeed, and without this success, we won't have the profit or the growth the business needs. We won't have satisfied or delighted customers who will stay, pay, and buy again. We won't find or hold on to product market fit. If we were getting things slightly wrong some of the time, it would be easier to make excuses for our techniques and processes. But with many years of high failure rates, we can't make excuses anymore. Failure undoes anything we thought was fast. If we get something out to our users, but it sucks in smaller, large ways, can we still congratulate ourselves for being fast? If your company wants to be fast and doesn't care about quality, outcomes, results, KPIs, or customer retention, then any technique is good enough. But when we care about those, and most companies do, then we have to look for better ways to create desirable and valuable products and services. Through my atomic product market fit model, we aim for success. More success, earlier success, customer success, and business success. If your company likes failure, they're really going to love success. Before we jump into hows, whys, and what to try at your current or next job or project, let's devote a few pages to some definitions. And I'll stop there for now. That is where the book starts. So we've got about 10 minutes left together. Does anybody have any questions about the book. Again, I really hope everybody will join the book club streams. I'm going to be live voice acting the book. You don't have to have bought the book. There's no fee to join these streams, but then they are going to come down right after I stream them, and then I will edit that and make that the audiobook. If you join live, you will be able to ask questions at the end of each chapter. So we'll have a little Miro board where you can put up your questions. Of course, you can buy the book at atomicpmf.com. Obviously, the audiobook isn't ready yet, and the Ingram Spark isn't ready yet, which means if you want a library or bookstore to buy it for you, that version is not ready yet. These are all going to take a few more weeks, but the Amazon print versions are available. The Kindle version is available, and my website sells the EPUB and PDF together for $10 American. If you would like to buy my book, especially the digital version from me, and $10 American feels unaffordable right now, just drop me a note and let me know what you can pay, and I'll try to get a copy of the book to you for that, because I want to get it out there. So anybody have any questions or curiosities about the book? And again, yours will not have this stripe. This is the Amazon not for resale stripe that goes on the proof copies, where I can kind of check how the book is looking. KB, hi KB. Just catching the tail end of this, but one argument I hear people make against UX research is that in most cases, you're not getting feedback from people who have a vested interest in the success of the product, i.e. they didn't pay. They have no skin in the game, nothing to lose if it fails or gain if it improves. They feel it isn't real feedback. Curious to hear your thoughts on this perspective. I don't agree, but I understand what they're getting at. Congrats on the book. Thank you. Yeah, that's something I have not heard before, so it wasn't an argument that I take on directly in the book, but I do devote a lot of time, or some time in the book, I guess, with 266 pages, maybe not a lot of time, but some time in talking about recruiting. Because ultimately, you're talking about recruiting, where the question is, if we're talking about product market fit, and we're talking about building products and services that fit the market, then the question is, when we do research, are we talking to the market? And whether or not they have skin in the game is not really, in my opinion, the right question, because if they are our target market, then they're either a current customer, a potential customer, or an ex-customer. So if we correctly recruit them and they're part of our audience, they're part of our ideal customer profiles, personas, typologies, whatever we're calling them, which we go into in Chapter 7, if we recruit them well, then it doesn't matter if that individual person has skin in the game. We still need to research with them and learn from them, because they are the target market. They are the target market of users or customers. And it's not about whether or not they have skin in the game, because even as I point out in I forgot which chapter, skin in the game is a temporary thing. If I am a customer of a particular product or service now, and they piss me off enough, or raise their price high enough, or lower their quality enough, I'm gone tomorrow. So I had skin in the game until I didn't. And so the best thing you can do is to understand who your target market is, whether that's, again, a persona, an ideal customer profile, a typology, a segment, and make sure that when you are doing any type of research, early, generative, exploratory discovery, later, evaluative, testing types of research, concept tests, whatever they might be, that you are addressing that market. That's the bottom line. If you're only looking for people who have skin in the game, sure, you can recruit for that. That will be a subset of your larger target audience, because your larger target audience would include people who aren't customers yet. If you might say, well, I only want to talk to people who have skin in the game. Well, what does that even mean? Oh, well, they need to have a vested interest in the product. What does that mean? If we start sucking, or we're unsuccessful, or our product gets really bad, or it's enshittified, what will their vested interest in us translate to? They won't renew the contract. They'll downgrade. They'll leave. They'll start looking for competitors. So again, to me, the vested interest in the product is temporary if we suck. And so I would rather see people recruit research for the market who may not have skin in the game, but they should be people who match your target audience. Ana Lucia says, so the only valid opinion is someone who invested money in the product already, not even possible customers? Well, you might have lost customers by doing that, and you just don't know it. Yeah, like in Customers Know You Suck, I said, look, you can design things without caring about people with accessibility needs, but then people with accessibility needs will notice that you designed without them in mind, and they won't be able to use your system, and they'll go to someone who did. KB says, yeah, I think that's why people just want to launch an MVP that somebody will buy, launch something tangible, then they feel confident they can pivot from there and bypass UXR. Then they hire UX researcher after as a cleanup crew, which is why we're always swimming upstream. Yeah, I can certainly agree with that. And again, the book is designed for the person who might, the book's designed for a lot of people. It could be for KB to have new things to say at work, to try to say things in different ways to the same old people or new people, to try to have new conversations or say things in new ways. So it could be for you. It could be for the person you're talking about, the person who thinks, who cares about research? I have a hypothesis and I'm just going to launch it, and then I'm going to test it, and then I'm going to know. But as the book reminds us, we very often don't learn from these things. We say, I'm going to A/B test it, I'm going to experiment with it, I'm going to put a hypothesis out there, and I'm going to learn. And so often I say to people, what did you learn? And they said, well, we learned that people didn't want it or they didn't like it. Great, but peel away the layers. Why? What are the root causes? What should you now change? What should you keep the same? What was working that you shouldn't change? And what wasn't working that you should change? Well, maybe we just need to pivot. Pivot from what to what? Do you understand what worked well and what didn't work well? Otherwise, your pivot or iteration or new hypothesis is just a guess. And that's where this starts to get expensive, slow, and wasteful. Ana Lucia says, I already made some entrepreneurs mad because I told them entrepreneurship is taught wrong. And yes, I've been there, both in entrepreneurship courses and with my startup. Yeah, one of the examples in this book is my own failed startup that I had 15 years ago in Silicon Valley. I was even in an incubator. I even got seed money, still failed. And so I'm not afraid to say I'm in the same bucket with a lot of people who built something they thought was going to be great and helpful or cool or whatever, and then realized the product market fit wasn't there because I didn't make the product that fit the market. So there's a concept in the book that I call the foundational hypothesis, and that's going to point at some of these things as well. So let's see. KB says, yep, that's where the heart of this conversation is. Ana Lucia says, the way this is currently taught inflates egos and they don't want to hear they may be wrong. Yes, also covered in the book, especially in chapter 9. Chapter 9 is where we take a look at some of the toxic people that are causing these problems in companies. And then, of course, when you have company problems and toxic workers, especially toxic leaders, that's going to ripple out to the bad products and services and features that you put out there. So the book covers that as well. I tried to cover a lot of stuff without making an encyclopedia. My goal was for the book to be closer to the length of Disruptive Research, but I just couldn't stop writing as usual. So it's not as long as Customers Know You Suck, but it is in between the two. I forgot how many pages disruptive research has. Let's see. 230, and mine's 266. So it's definitely closer to the disruptive research size than the customers know you suck size, in case you read both. But ultimately, I think it's the kind of book that if you're enjoying it, you could read it in a week. Some of my editors and beta readers did read it in a week. So if you are inspired and you're enjoying it, I think it's a read that can go relatively fast. It is not highly technical. It's not highly jargony. It doesn't assume you have a lot of experience in tech or corporate or in your job. It's really written for everybody. And of course, we now have an Atomic PMF channel in our free Discord community. That's dcx.to/Discord. You are welcome to join and be anonymous if you want. And I've got a new channel there where as you're reading the book or trying to use it in your work, give me your book related questions and I'll answer, and the community will join in, and it'll be a group adventure. Hello, people on LinkedIn. Welcome to the book launch celebration stream. I am celebrating my 6th business book being released. Thank you. This one is called Atomic Product Market Fit, and we are going to look at how to make product market fit better, faster, easier. Some of that might be through AI. Some of it might be avoiding AI. So the book takes a intelligent, critical thinking look at where can AI probably help us with some things, and where is AI not helping us or possibly hurting us from the perspective of early 2026. And then, of course, please join the lightning lesson, the free webinar that is coming up to talk to you more about the Atomic PMF model and some of how I use AI around it. And I'll be teaching you how to do that. You can join that at atomicpmf.com/lightning with a lowercase l, and that is a 1-hour free webinar coming up in about 2 weeks. Please spread the word. I want people to start thinking about product market fit in macro, meso, and micro ways, and having those conversations at their job. Like, yeah, we can put that feature into the product, but will that feature have product market fit? Feature market fit. We don't think about it. We just get a list of features from some leader or executive and we zombie build it, and we don't stop and go, wait a minute, are we building the right thing for our market? We wink at empathy and we wink at delighting users and delivering value, but are we? So, to me, this book is the much more tactical and practical follow-up to Customers Know You Suck. So if you didn't read Customers Know You Suck, totally fine. I think you'll like Atomic Product Market Fit. If you read Customers Know You Suck and you liked at least some of it, you're going to really love Atomic Product Market Fit, because it's definitely more of a now do this type of book with more practical and tactical do it things. So we've been talking for about an hour together. So thanks to everybody for giving me some time and celebrating with me. I will be live streaming karaoke tomorrow, Friday, February 27, 2026. That's always on Twitch and LinkedIn only, so that YouTube doesn't copy strike me. I will be singing for all of you to celebrate the release of the book. Yes, I take requests. So join me at 7 p.m. Italy time, 1 p.m. New York time. For karaoke. And then next week, I'm going to be streaming 4 times a week, because Monday and Friday will be the live book club, where I will be live voice acting and narrating the book for the audiobook. And Tuesday will be Take Action Tuesday, as it is every Tuesday, though next Tuesday is the first Tuesday of the month, so we won't be streaming. We'll be in Discord only. And Wednesday will be Ask Me Anything. So I am going to be in front of a microphone 4 days a week for March and probably into April, as we get through the live narration of the audiobook, which I hope people will join for. So that is the story. Please spread the word about the book. Please spread the word about the Lightning Lesson webinar that will start to teach you some of the concepts from the book and taking action on them. And I hope people will join the book club live and ask questions. And if not, it will just be a live recorded audiobook, a tiny desk concert, one might say. All right, last chance for questions before I wrap up today's live stream. Thank you again to everybody who's joined or is watching this later. Hooray for my new book. I've been working on this for a year. I'm so excited about it. The early readers seem to have really liked it. I know I've already got some reviews that are going to be hitting Amazon soon. If you end up reading it and you like at least some of it, won't you please go leave a review, especially on Amazon? The more good reviews I get, the more Amazon recommends the book. It really is an algorithm. So if you like any of my books, please go to Amazon and review them. You don't have to have bought the book from Amazon. It just won't say verified purchase next to your name. It'll only say that next to the people who bought it, but you can absolutely review a book you didn't buy on Amazon. So let's get all the reviews there, please, since that will help my book be recommended to more people in the algorithm. All right, I will flame us out of here, but thank you again to everybody, especially the people live here. I see on Twitch, KB and Ana Lucia, and thanks to Charlene joining on YouTube and Joel joining on LinkedIn. Thanks to everybody. Gosh, I guess I'll see you tomorrow for some fun karaoke celebrating. So yeah, please buy my book and spread the word. And then use it. Let me know how it goes. Thanks. See ya.